Excellent. Good afternoon, Monique, Wayne. Welcome and thank you very much for your time today.
Hello, Bowen.
How are you doing?
Great.
Excellent. Thank you very much for flying off from Adelaide, Wayne.
No problems at all.
My name is 𝐿𝐺𝐻𝐳 from Sonar Technologies. You both know me quite well, and I really appreciate both of you taking the time and accepting this invite to come here in your busy schedules. We are in December, traditionally the most busiest period of the year, or one of the months where it's an extremely busy period. Really appreciate your effort. Thank you very much.
You saw me in action a bit early today, didn't you?
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. And we were all along the way driving
Yes,
here
we
to the
were.
studio. So absolutely. Thank you very much. What I'll do is I'll probably begin by requesting both of you to introduce yourselves and your companies and the business you are in. That will give us a good idea as to what we are trying to do today. So over to you, Monique. And then, of course, I'll request Wayne also to describe a little bit more about Felix Transport and see how we go.
Sure.
Excellent. Thanks, Moyne. My name's Monique Welsh. I'm the General Manager at Fresh and Clean. We provide washroom services, managed first aid and managed training services. We're part of the 𝐿𝐴 organisation, who are a global textile rental company. Fresh and Clean's represented throughout Australia, New Zealand and in Asia, and we're delighted to be here, and thank you very much for the invitation today, Moyne. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Monique. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. Wayne?
I'm the CEO for Felix Transport. We're a urgent courier taxi truck and distribution company. We provide services in Adelaide, but we've got plans to move around the country and overseas. Sonar's been integral to our development. It's been a partner since the very beginning of the project, and they've been terrific all the way through.
Excellent. Thanks, Wayne. And a special thank you to you to flying up from Adelaide. As I said, luckily the flights were on time. You landed on time, and there were no complications in Sydney traffic. Monique, going back to 𝐿𝐴, I remember distinctly when I first stepped into the office, the business has a very large mural and photographs of how 𝐿𝐴 first began its business back so many years, where you're delivering laundered linen in the back of wagons drawn by horses. And here we are so many years later in using the best of the technologies and transport systems to deliver the same service.
Yeah, at the office, we recently moved, and throughout all of our offices, we have some form of how 𝐿𝐴 started, and it still is a privately owned organisation. They're very proud of our heritage, and we certainly, in our head office where I work over in Chatswood in Sydney, we have large murals of the some of the first deliveries that we ever made. So it is, we're very proud of what we do, and from right down from the owners to all of Australia and globally, we're very proud to work at 𝐿𝐴.
Wayne, how did the name Felix Transport come about?
It actually wasn't my idea. Being in the industry, you do get caught up with the status quo and what everybody else has, and it does shape your thinking. And when I decided to go through the branding process, I actually went to a marketing expert, give her a plug, at Pear Tree Brand Design in Adelaide. And we went through what the process of brand strategy was, is to really organise all your ideas that you have, because when you're starting a new business, you want to do this and you want to do that and you want to do this and you want to do that, but actually get into a structured order, and so basically it pulls all the ideas together, and that allows the designers to come up with the branding, the creative art, design work. But apart from the creative side of things, you need to come up with a name, and I was quite open to an external advice, and 𝐿𝐴 put down some options for me, and I saw she said Felix Couriers as amongst other ones. I said, oh, geez, I like that idea. That looks interesting. Mm-hmm. And I said, how'd you come up with that idea? And she said, it's Latin for happiness. So, and I thought, well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make people happy. And Felix Transport.
There you go.
That's
Excellent.
it.
Excellent. Sonar was very similar. We are still trading under the name of Transdata, but Sonar came about when the current board purchased out Transdata Communications back in 2010. And it happens to be an abbreviation of the names of the directors. And the name Sonar sounds very much like the sonar sound waves that we talk about, but it's very much relevant to the business that we are in. The software enterprise software solutions that we have, followed by solutions for warehouses where people and staff require wireless connectivity. So it blended quite well, and that's how the name Sonar came about. One of the reasons why I picked this particular topic is because all three businesses have a common denominator, and that is delivery of good, optimum, professional customer service. So I was thinking along the lines of discussing a topic which is essential to the survival of our businesses, and that's what makes us different. Just yesterday, I saw your website, Monique, where you have added 150 new customers in just 1 week, and that is a tremendous achievement for your business. Just tell us your experience about how you go about maintaining that level of providing optimum customer service.
We, in relation to that, especially with something like a website, content is king, and we have a terrific marketing department who manage all of that information that we give to and put on our websites or any of our channels, Instagram and all of the social media type channels that we use. And we have been very fortunate. It has the growth and the numbers that we are now seeing it is tenfold what it was 5 years ago. And the content part for us is certainly number one. And then we look at, what do our customers actually want when it comes to the customer service? And they want to be they want it to be easy to use. They want to have, they want to feel like, oh yeah, that's the service that I really want, and we make it nice and easy. So it's just one click, it's seamless. It might be some inquiry to do with admin or, look, I want that defibrillator or whatever it is. And easy to use content and making sure it's somewhat personalised when it comes to the customer service side of things.
Absolutely. And in fact, thinking about an office space which has to be hygiene controlled, it's so critical, it's so vital. Imagine walking into a washroom which is unclean or untidy, or it's not being maintained well. It's just going to drop your productivity so much. And apart from the health issues that arise from it, if you have a healthy workforce, they're just going to be doing so much more better.
Absolutely. And we actually were having this discussion this morning in a meeting around for washroom services. We're not an energy spend, and we're certainly not a capital expense. And people sometimes can forget it's not a top priority, but when something's wrong, it is number one. We need that washroom cleaned, or we need that defibrillator or air freshener or whatever it is to work.
It takes very little, Monique, for problems to multiply very quickly, especially when you have winter months when people are normally taking some time off because of illness.
Yes.
It is even more important for the business to ensure that the place is kept pristine clean. Wayne, your business is no different. You have to take parcels, and there could be some customer who wants an urgent parcel delivered before 9 a.m. or before 10:30 a.m. because it's probably a passport and he has to catch a flight.
Yep.
Tell us your experience, what happens? Yours would be almost from the time the telephone rings, you've just got to make things happen.
That's exactly the case. The way, probably take a little bit of a different view on, the situation. There's customer service and there's customer experiences. And they're both, from my perspective, quite a different angle to look from. Customer service is when something goes awry and you pick up the phone and you're able to resolve a matter. And someone feels like, oh, gee, that's great, they've fixed the problem, or they're able to get me back to some information that I needed. And that's good customer service. What we've tried to do with Felix Transport is set up an organisation which provides outstanding customer experiences. Now that's being proactive with putting a set of scenarios in place of a customer before they actually happen, so they actually walk into them. And the way I would describe that is I have a preferred hotel when I travel, and I know when I go into the lobby, there's a scent in the air, and the people wear the same uniforms when you go see them. They go through the same processes when you actually go to check in, and they're wearing the same uniforms when they go check in. When you go into the room's laid out in the same way. That's a set of experiences that has been created by the company, and you feel comfortable with that, and that gives you the opportunity to buy back from them again. So that's the type of methodology we've gone through with Felix Transport, is to set up a series of scenarios for customers to enjoy so they come back again and again.
And that's what it is. It's about ensuring customer loyalty for all three of us, for all three businesses. You deliver that positive customer experience and you ensure that customer loyalty is maintained.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I think I certainly agree with what you said, Wayne. And when it comes to customer experience, I think people, and we've talked about this, looking at some of the bigger brands and what they deliver and how easy they make their service and how easy it is to use their service. And people want that. We're busy, we don't have time. We don't want to be checking things. We want a web portal or, some customer web portal where you can log in and say, yep, my service has been done. Thank you very much. And it's easy, it's personalised. And I think we have to be, as service providers, on our game and looking for new ways to improve or to exceed what our competitors
Absolutely.
do.
It's almost a 24/7, 365 sort of a business if you think about it.
Yeah.
If you have a prospect of your new customer logs in and the site is down, that's not going to help the business at all. And it's applicable to all three of us because it's all about that ensuring that the customer because the customer is doing its own business, right? They don't have time to look elsewhere. So if that customer experience gets delivered every time, you could be rest assured that that customer will remain loyal to your brand.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is there's a value chain, and the value chain starts from the very, very beginning. It looks at your branding, and it looks at your logo, it looks at your name, and looks at the colours. And does it seem appealing to me? Does it appear strong? Does it appear weak? How does it compare to our competitors? Then it goes to the content with your web marketing. Okay, that looks interesting. I'm going to delve a bit further into that. Okay, then the website looks nice. I've seen them around before, so there's a bit of a mental availability for people. They investigate that a bit further. Then that attracts people to dig deeper and then become engaged with your brand and take the journey further with you. Then you're moving into systems and processes and being able to place web bookings. And geez, this is easy, and I do like using this. And that once that's been placed, it's always been placed. The driver turns up. He looks like the person in the website. He's friendly. They said they're going to be friendly.
Sure.
And it gets delivered, and we deliver on time. And that, from our perspective, brings repeat customers.
And in fact, besides that, the strength of referred business. So once I'm satisfied with Fresh and Clean's business, and I have a colleague or colleagues who basically say, what do you do about your washroom services? I could say, mate, just go straight to Fresh and Clean, get them to give you a quotation, and they will be there. You don't have to waste too much time. Same thing with Felix Transport. People do put a lot of emphasis on references from similar businesses, and that's a very powerful statement. You look after one customer, and that particular customer for yours is going to be your best salesperson.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think with, in particular, the referrals, and I just want to backtrack a little bit on what Wayne said, that you, with the experience and all of the process that you mentioned, we as service providers need to be reassessing that all the time, because we have competitors that come to the market, they try and want to do it better than all of their other competitors, and there's something new. So from especially technology, it changes every day. So we need to not only be aware, we have to be reassessing sales, marketing, finance, all of the processes
All the time.
and with our technology to ensure that, yes, we get referrals, but we're also offering what our customers want. And our customers are smart, you know, they're online, they're checking, they're using some of the big brands, you know, and they know what's available. So they can go, I want that. So we need to be on the front foot and saying, this is what I want.
And that's the part of that, you know, when I frame the topic about delivering customer service in digital economy, you walk into shopping centers today and you walk into a particular store, you wish to purchase a piece of merchandise and you say, let me have a look, let me check if I can get the same product somewhere else and save me whatever the amount is. And there are so many customers doing that. They will look up a product, they will find something similar or something close to it, and they've saved up, you know, whatever the amount is, and you lose a customer right away. So that emphasis of ensuring that a customer doesn't walk out without a product purchase is now becoming more and more evident. It's all good to sort of talk about delivering customer service, but I'm sure there are some challenges along the way too about ensuring that that optimum level of performance is maintained. So Monique, how do you ensure that the staff that who are delivering the service, right from the offices, right from the back offices to the frontline staff, how do you keep them motivated? What are the tools you use? Do you have programs often? Do you train them? What do you do?
Yeah, we have many programs. That's a big area that we focus on at Fresh and Clean, and we have some right down from admin and service and sales. We are every week making sure that people are trained. We have some new products. There's training, service technicians. We toolbox talks, and because we're always looking for something new, always trying to get a competitive edge, we need to ensure that our training is on time, ensure that it's prior to releasing any product, and ensuring that everyone knows what to do. And we have a range of different programs. From toolbox talks, we have meetings, we have management development programs, and it's all about ensuring that we communicate correctly to our staff. And, we talk about technology, but they're also, people have to drive that technology.
Absolutely, and the motivation, I think, remains to be consistent along the way.
Absolutely.
We take it for granted that people will lock up and, the employees will log in and they'll sign in and they'll switch on their laptops and computers and log in into their systems. But behind that scene, you have just got to ensure that all the staff remain motivated, which is a key component and crucial, not only the back office, but also the people behind in the vans driving along. Same thing with you, Wayne. Do you go through a training process for your drivers? And
100%. So when a driver arrives to want to work for Felix Transport, probably the first thing we would do is assess supply and demand. Look, we operate in an environment which is purely supply and demand. If we have too many drivers and not enough demand coming through, if we're creating an unhappy experience for a driver because they're going to be sitting on the side of the road, and it goes the other way around if we've got too many orders coming through compared to the number of drivers. So we're always consistently challenged by the volumes that are coming through and anticipating the future. So the first thing we would do is have an honest conversation with the driver in terms of their capabilities, their vehicle size. Does it suit our needs moving forwards, personality, and their capacity to sort of, I suppose we call it, be aligned with our values. If we move forward, there is a very extensive induction process to ensure the drivers are trained up from a safety perspective, number one, understanding what the company's expectations are moving forwards, and also there's the IT side of training, which also follows towards the end, as well as the compliance checks.
There's so many companies here in Sydney where I'm driving behind a truck or a van, and there's a sentence painted on the back of the vehicle saying that my driving record is on display. If you have any concerns, please call so and so. So we assume that our driver is going from A to B, but is he a safe driver? Is he following the rules? And that is a part of the company image.
Exactly.
And that sort of comes within the entire training process.
And it also needs to become a part of the policy of the company and to create a safe environment. And drivers, we say to them, if you feel unsafe about a load, you say no. And we manage the process behind that. And then not a lot of companies actually do that. They actually think about the customer first and foremost, putting the drivers at risk. However, we have a bit of a different view on that scenario, and our drivers are key for us. And because of that, our customers come back because we're all a part of the chain of responsibility, and we've got to make sure our people are safe.
Sure. Almost all of us are putting in probably 12 plus hours in a day, I would think, if not more. What does a typical day look for you, Monique? Start in the morning, I'm sure an early starter?
Unfortunately, yes. I would love the day that I could sleep in. Usually kicks off around 5 a.m.
Yes, I'm not surprised.
No, that part is take my dogs out for a walk for an hour.
Right, okay.
So
all right, okay, yeah.
I do that, have a look at some emails on the way,
yes.
and then usually head to the office or interstate, catching a plane, usually sometime during the week. And then it goes from there. I think meetings seem to like to overtake the day, but I certainly make a point in my day to ensure that I get to chat with staff. And if I'm visiting branches interstate, I enjoy going out and talking to the drivers, and we have programs around, support, coaching and mentoring drivers, because it can be lonely. It can be. I'm from the sales background, and being in a car all day every day can be lonely, and it's terrific to have someone there supporting and coaching and going to service with you, and I really enjoy that part.
It's amazing, isn't it? You've just touched on something that you said earlier. You're from sales, so you've been there. You have actually experienced it. So that training, that mentoring comes in so handy from time to time. And you're absolutely right. I do a lot of driving myself, meeting customers. And if you're stuck in traffic, which is not moving, it can be very frustrating. So that timely call from somebody really helps, because at least you are able to speak to somebody.
That's exactly right. It makes it a lot more worthwhile when you actually are chatting with staff and understanding what's going on, and helping them. And if there's some questions that they have, let's answer them on the spot or follow up what it is.
And I think just address, if there are any issues that need to be addressed, you might as well just do that immediately rather than let it fester.
Yes.
Excellent. Wayne, what does your day look like? When do you start?
Well, in transport, it's an early morning game, and everything's
Absolutely
happening in the morning, and it sort of tapers off towards the back end of the day. It is quite interesting, though, starting a new business and having smart technology to start with, as well as using ancillary cloud-based technology such as Xero or certain CRM tools, and how that's impacting my day. I'm very interested to see how it's going to roll out moving forward, because we're able to get more done because technology is advancing at such a rate. And I'm quite interested to see how that challenges the traditional company structures. And I particularly brought up Xero as an example, as an accounting package, and I can see my bank accounts, I can see what's happening, I can process invoices, I can see everything I need to see, I can run a profit and loss statement just by clicking a button. Those roles were actually taken up by bookkeepers, administration staff many years ago, but starting a new business in today, we're able to have leverage off some great technology in conjunction with the transport management system that Sono provides with us, which again is a very fluid system. It's easy to receive a booking, it's easy to allocate a booking, it's easy for drivers to use the application, and it's allowing us to scale quicker without the significant investments in human capital compared to our rivals. And I'm really quite interested to see where this goes as we get larger over time and we get more customers and more drivers and do more activity. How is that going to impact our structures moving forwards? Because at the moment I'm feeling we can get a bit done with the technology that we have.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk of new technologies, Wayne, and you must have heard the terms artificial intelligence and machine learning concepts now being brought in. They're talking about service delivery, not by humans but by robots, right? How that will work in our industry is probably too broad for this particular session. But where do you see customer service delivery heading in the next few years, Monique? How do you see that getting delivered? What is going to happen in the future, you think?
I certainly think that right from now we have had quite a change in service delivery from a back end perspective. We allocate basically all of our routing and allocation is done out of Sydney. So that used to be done in each state and each branch, and we don't do that anymore. And it just allows us a little better control and some transparency around what's happening. And I certainly think, and one of the areas that we're looking at for Sonar Technology, with Sonar Technology being our partner, is can we use a machine? So if we have many different services that we provide, and they're all different times and all different frequencies, that it will recognise, right, that service is on that week and that's going to take that amount of time, and basically work out the most efficient route for us, and basically set it out for however many routes that we have. And that part, I think, is it's going to be fascinating around what that's going to do. We have some other significant technology around. We service a large customer who has a myriad or hundreds of defibrillators that require us to give them feedback within 1 minute of a defibrillator being pulled out of a cabinet. And from a service perspective, that to us is critical, and to the customer it's obviously critical. It's a life-saving device, and we think that type of technology in conjunction with the sonar technology that we're currently using, I think we're in for a very interesting ride.
And absolutely right. I know that information, that need to get that information back, whatever that information is about, is really paramount, because businesses take decisions based on what information, what reliable information they have in front of them. In your case also, Wayne, I think it would be the same thing, where is my package? That you would love to have if somebody's waiting at home, waiting for an important document to be delivered or some package to be delivered. It is so important that they pick up the phone and says, well, when do you think the driver will turn up?
Exactly. It's great that you brought up that particular topic, because the relationship with Sonar Technologies actually started off that particular concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning. When a customer places an order with us, we've got a fleet controller who actually, traditionally there's a fleet controller that sits there and looks at a job that comes in and says, well, okay, what have I got on my screen, and who's available, and what direction they're going in, and what have they got on board, and how's that delivery going to compromise the other deliveries that are on board. And fleet controllers are like a traditional practice, across the industry. Humans, we have good days, we have bad days, we have experience, we have inexperience, we make good decisions, we make bad decisions, and that creates ambiguity and sometimes non-conformance. My view in moving forwards is that algorithms will take over a large majority of those decisions.
Yeah.
So item type, vehicle type, vectors, driver earnings, general direction the vehicle's going into, what the current SLAs are. There's algorithms that can be bought into that. And I was really pleased to see that Sonar was really bought in by that concept, because when I started talking with Arun and Ivan Teager back from the very beginning, that was something that really binded us together and took us along the journey. And essentially that is how our transport management system is being constructed, with those bones in place. The concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning is another level above that, because it does take artificial intelligence is the actual concept of learning as you continue, that the machine or the programming, considering learning and improving over time. Now there's other factors such as weather, and there's driver experience, and there's customer nuances, and there's other areas that need to be factored into the programming, which is another level in itself. I do certainly believe that is the direction we're going into. Are we there yet? I wouldn't say we're there today, but certainly over time it can get to that point if we're all committed to it.
This brings about something which is very obvious, and for any company to deliver good customer service requires good people. There are human beings involved in all businesses, right? There are challenges there itself, managing personalities, managing different personalities, managing days when somebody has turned up to work and not in the best state of mind. How do you manage that? How do you tackle that, Monique?
It happens frequently.
It happens frequently, yes, I would imagine.
People, we all have good and not so good days. And for me, it's about honesty and communicating with people. And if someone is having an issue, be honest, say, put the issue on the table, or they're not having a good day, let us know.
Communicate well.
Absolutely. And I think that we, if you do communicate, and if someone's not doing a great job or, is doing a great job, how many times do you love being told that you're doing a great job, but you feel like sometimes that all you get is, there's a problem there. And I think that one of the things that Fresh and Clean really promote is, let's tell everyone if they are doing a great job and thank them. And we certainly, if there is an issue or something we put it on the table and we reset expectations and be upfront and honest. I think is my number one. Treat everyone with respect, and I think that goes a long way.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. The simple first step is communicate rather than bottle it all inside. Yeah. When yours is even more critical if you think about it. In fact, both of yourselves, if you have a driver who is not having a very good day, and your driver, and he is driving a vehicle, he has got to be careful because he's putting both his life and somebody else's life at risk. And these persons have to be in their best frame of mind when they start the day. And you've got to keep making sure that they are fit and they're well and there are no complications.
Exactly.
How do you manage that?
I totally agree with what Monique's point of view. There's when we go, I'll probably take it a step back. When this, what do you call it, a video cast? What do we call this?
Video podcast.
Video podcast. I think so. The came out. There was a LinkedIn note that went out, and I went, oh, okay, that's out there now. We're doing this, and so all of a sudden I get some questions started getting firing from my LinkedIn people I've joined up with, and one of the questions is why you want to do this for, and you can work for a corporation. What's driving you to do this? And I basically said, look, our vision for our company is to create a company where you feel like you belong. Pretty simple. But essentially that's it. So one of the key opportunities in my industry is the drivers and them feeling a part of an organisation and doing
belonging.
Belonging to the organisation and doing a bit more. And we do. That's probably where it stems from, even from the interview process, and where we're looking at our characters and we're looking at, does this person actually fit our values? And what I've found is that even though we're going for a relatively short period of time, our drivers are really quite engaged with that concept, and that, even though you do have good and bad days, what we've found is a lot of consistency with our drivers being engaged with our organisation because they believe in what we're about and they believe in the inner core of our business. And yes, that has a great outcome for our customers, but what that's doing is that's creating a sustainable environment for our drivers. And you can deal with the ups and downs, but that's we're finding that people are being attracted to that ethos, and
sure.
We've got people sort of lined up, ready to start, who are quite engaged with that concept.
Yeah, in fact, keeping the motivation and morale of anyone, back in the office also, our office also, we go through a normal routine process of internal discussions about what skill sets they need to add on, what new strategies they can learn, or what programming languages they can learn to just keep their motivation levels up to speed. If you drop that, if that drops, it then reflects directly on the performance and the quality of what work they do. It then brings me to a new challenge which we all know about. We can't control it, and that is the changes in the climate that we are experiencing all over the world, not just here, but everywhere. It does affect us because we have customers whose output is measured by a reasonably good weather patterns and sort of predictable things that they can say that yes, our cost is not going to go up because there's a higher cost for water, higher cost for electricity, and therefore we are unable to expand the way we would want to. Is it beginning to affect yourselves, Monique?
I think from the linen side of our business, that is, water and energy are certainly, that is a key expense for the business. From the fresh and clean side of the business, waste for us, we've had some extensive price increases on waste, and that has certainly affected what we do. Fuel, I mean, Wayne, you would certainly understand the fuel expense, as you would mine, and that is that does affect what we do. 𝐴LSCO are also very serious about looking at climate change. How can we make our business more sustainable? And encompassed in that is the environment and what we do, and some other areas. And we are members of APCO, which is a Australian Packaging Covenant organisation, and it is about how can we reduce our packaging and what we do and how we do it. And there are a number of things that we do, and we're looking to improve to reduce our carbon footprint. And the climate change part is certainly going to be interesting in the future, and it does certainly put pressure on our costs and how we go to market and deliver the service.
In fact, you have just touched on a topic about the carbon footprint. I remember several years ago, there was a tender where one of the main qualifying questions were, you need to comply with these standards, as how we say. If you're not complying, give us evidence of how you're complying with these standards. And if you do not qualify in this compliance, then we don't believe you will be successful in this submission. And that was exactly how you manage your carbon footprint. What are you actively doing? How much paper do you produce in your daily business? How do you go about recycling? And how do you manage waste? That was a key question, even before they got into the main subject of what the tender that was for.
Yeah, we constantly get asked that. And in relation, I have just a short story on, we just changed over some units, and we had just over 100,000 units, and I was insistent that they had to be recycled, and I wanted to make sure that they would be recycled. And we said, come and pick them up, they're free, come and take them away. And in the end, we ended up paying to ensure that they got recycled, because we wanted to make sure that it didn't go to landfill. And but it was quite difficult to source some people to come and take it away.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well done. Wayne,
certainly
just imagine,
topic.
Imagine you wake up one day and there are some very heavy rains overnight, and all the roads are blocked, and you have got vans full of deliveries to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And it just come down, and it just happened recently in some place where they copped 2 years rain in just a day.
Yep.
And you would have to be ready for that sort of a situation, wouldn't you?
Yes. There are scenarios where customers are quite, if it's a natural disaster, there are some sort of levels of flexibility.
Sure.
And we just have to understand that. But just back to the topic of sustainability and carbon footprint, the transport industry is obviously heavily involved with that scenario, and there's a couple of options out there in terms of electric vehicles as one. Drones, I think we sort of talked about that earlier in the day. The electric vehicles are starting to make a presence in the Australian market. There are certain contracts which are now making it mandatory for electric vehicles. I don't know if I'm allowed to say IKEA, for example. You know, that's if you were successful in the IKEA, they would want a certain percentage of their fleet, if not all of their vehicles being electric. And there is starting to become a push for that. When we're dealing with courier work, there is no regulation, basically. There is in New South Wales, in terms from a driver pay perspective, but there isn't any sort of ruling on what type of vehicle, how old the vehicle should be and what type of vehicle should be. So, like, my view is until the market is prepared to pay, because obviously electric vehicles are new, and compared to, you know, a 2012 Ford Transit van, it's more expensive to run that vehicle. But however, will the customer pay more for that electric vehicle compared to the Ford Transit van, which runs quite well? I'm not at the view we've got to that point yet of critical mass and for it to become affordable for, you know, Joe the driver to go buy a truck, and to make it sustainable for that person, and also for the customer to be happy for that. So that's a challenge for the industry. Like, I think for us to make significant headway, there possibly would need to be some sort of legislative intervention for that to take place. That's what my view is. Something you mentioned a little bit earlier was drone deliveries. I think in certain applications it could work. Regional areas, you know, remote deliveries. I just cannot see drones carrying tiles and, you know, delivering
steel bars. Absolutely, yes.
Flying down.
That would be a challenge.
Street and, you know, accidentally dropping, you know, or whatever. I just can't see it happening.
I understand.
In the immediate.
Possibly, yeah. That's true.
It's just so I think there's always going to be a place for, you know, humans to be involved with that actual last mile activity. Just because of the nature of
the business,
what we're doing and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's probably my take on the future of.
This brings me to probably one of the final questions, I think, for the afternoon. Where do you see 2020 heading? What is your? This is going to be a big topic, Monique, and you know, you're on record.
How long have we got?
Yes, but looking at if you look at the, you know, there are a lot of reports which are not really presenting a very strong economic future for some. There's so many reasons, and there are two schools of thought. Obviously, there are, you know, the people who think that's the case, and some people saying, no, look, you know, we are going well. All three of us, all three companies have to be ready if there's a downturn. Do you see that happening in 2020?
For Fresh and Clean, I certainly don't. I think
that's the nature of the business, isn't it?
It is a necessity.
Yep.
You know, we deliver life-saving devices, we deliver hygienic devices, we deliver first aid, and they are all necessities that we have to use. I think that we touching on Wayne, we Fresh and Clean are looking at providing a better customer experience. So we're improving on. We think it's good. We think it's really good, but we need it to be awesome. And I think that safety, we've touched on safety. So, you know, safety in our workplace. And we have the nature of our business. In some areas, it is not necessarily safe. And we are always looking at improving safety. For our customers, we want it to be a seamless, efficient, beautiful service that they don't really have to pay much attention to at all. It just happens. And for 2020, we have some exciting new innovations that we're looking at in partnership. You certainly across some of those.
Sure. And
you know, product, service, but how we can better deliver our service more efficiently, and making sure that we listen to what our customers need, and that changes every year. Every you know, we're continually having to update and upgrade, and ensuring that we deliver what our customers
Absolutely.
want.
And as I said, the service is such that you walk into an office, it's like walking into your own home. You need to have the homes clean. You have got to have the washrooms clean. And it's just got to have that healthy environment all along the way. You cannot afford to work, otherwise you won't be able to work. Wayne, what's your take on 2020?
I think there's a couple of different perspectives. You can sort of look at the macroeconomic outlook, and directors' sentiment is lower looking into the future. It's not overly optimistic into 2020. However, the other side of the perspective is from a small company which is breaking into the market, which has innovative technologies and has a great message to send. I'm quite excited about 2020.
Good.
Everybody has different perspectives, because even if it is on a bit of a downturn, it actually forces people to actually review and look for further ways to either reduce cost or to improve their customer experience. And if you're a company that it's well equipped to take on that change, you should take advantage of that. And I feel that Felix Transport is well placed to take advantage of that situation. So I'm very optimistic about next year, and bring it on.
Absolutely. I can't thank you both enough. Have a wonderful year ahead. The best wishes to both of you and your families. Have a very safe Christmas. Are you taking time off, Monique?
A few days.
A few days, that's it, yes.
It's end of year for 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐲. So
I can understand. I mean, it's a peak period for you, Wayne. So anyway, have a very safe break. Look forward to working with both of yourselves in the future in 2020 and many more years to come. It has been a wonderful opportunity this afternoon. The thoughts that you have shared with us today, hopefully will take us and give us new opportunities, and hopefully the phone starts ringing at some stage. So that will be nice to see. So thank you once again. A very happy New Year. A very happy New Year to you.